Welcome to Monday Morning Dharma. Why don't we go ahead and settle in for some meditation? Please settle into a comfortable meditation posture, taking care to ensure that your spine is straight and relaxed. With the beginning of a new week, it's an especially ideal time for us to engage in practice, perhaps setting the tone for the upcoming week. Please turn yourself over completely to the practice. Now is not the time to reflect on events that have occurred in the past. Those events cannot be changed, undone, or recreated, nor is this the time to speculate about events that may or may not occur in the future. The future is unknown to us. Now is the time to be fully present here in this moment. Now is the time to give yourself full permission to enjoy engaging in a practice that's going to bring you a peaceful state of mind and create the karmic causes for you to experience a peaceful world. When you're ready in your own time, please gently transition into meditation on the inner body. Become the silent observer of sensations that may start in your hands and your feet in the form of a tingling, perhaps a lightness, perhaps a heaviness, perhaps a pulsation. Be the silent observer. Be a human being, silently observing sensations within your inner body. The mountain is ancient. The mountain is still. In the realm of the mountain, there is no such thing as hours, years, and centuries. All that exists is the now, being present in the now, silently observing. Be like a mountain as you silently observe sensations within your own body, mountain. Now, please gently redirect your awareness. Become aware again of this collection of parts, causes, and conditions that appear in the form of physical body, and allow your breathing to become less shallow. Taking deeper and deeper breaths, become aware again of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of physical body. Deeper and deeper breaths as you become aware again of your surroundings inside the room that you're occupying. Become aware again of the world that exists outside of the room that you're occupying. Become aware again of nearby mountains, of nearby countries, of nearby continents, of nearby solar systems. We dedicate all of the merit from this morning's meditation and Dharma and Dharma talk to world peace. May leaders of countries who are at odds with one another soon come to recognize that nothing is accomplished with minds of anger. Instead, may they resolve their differences with minds of patient acceptance, empathy, compassion, and wisdom. And may we individually make the greatest contributions we can to world peace by resolving conflicts in our own lives using minds of patient acceptance, empathy, compassion, and wisdom. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Thank you. And welcome back. So, in Friday's class, you may recall that we talked a little bit. I made reference to the collection of stories that relate to the past lives of the Buddha. And I told you that I wasn't sure if they were called Jatakas or Jakatas. And for the record, they are Jatakas, Jatakas, Jatakas. And not only that, I've been mispronouncing them, whatever they are, I've been mispronouncing them. They're called Jatakas. Jatakas is how they're pronounced. So Jatakas, Jatakas. Okay, for the record. For those of you who weren't with us at Friday's class, for some reason, the recording didn't take. So that class is not on Lotus Center's YouTube channel. Undoubtedly a user error on my part, but I apologize for that. I also want to say, as we venture into our next chapter in training and tenderness, I just want to kind of reiterate something that I have said previously, and that is that for our Monday and Friday Dharma classes, which have been going on now it'll be what, 3 complete years in January. I have kind of done my very best to not associate the meditations and the teachings with any particular religion or spiritual path. Um, since we have been going through training in tenderness, I have talked in kind of a Buddhist centric way. And The main reason for that is that the text that we're going through, training in tenderness, is based on Buddhist view, written by a Buddhist author, Dzigar Kongtrul, and so it felt not only okay, but really almost appropriate for me to be clear in the fact that these teachings are kind of presented in a way that are consistent with Buddhist view. They are based in Buddhist view. So, as always, use your judgment, use your wisdom, see if they resonate with you. And I would advise you to not get hung up on whether this is Buddhist view or not Buddhist view. See if it makes sense to you. See if it works for you when you put these views, these teachings and practices into practice in your own daily lives. And there is sort of no set of teachings in Buddhist doctrine that are kind of more Buddhist specific than teachings on death. And I say that in the most respectful, honoring way. Death is so big. It is referred to sometimes as the great teacher, because we can learn so much from the fact that our death is an absolute certainty and the timing of our death is an absolute uncertainty. There are just many, many invaluable teachings to be had from those two recognitions, which are, I haven't seen it presented anywhere but Buddhist doctrine. Sometimes death is referred to as the Lord of Death, because death always prevails, right? Can't get away from it. So anyways, lots and lots of teachings in Buddhist doctrine about death. We're going to go through some of them over our next few classes. In our next chapter, in the next to the last chapter, can you believe it? In Training in Tenderness is titled Meeting Death with an Open Heart. And I really encourage you to read this chapter. Dzigar Kongtrul does such a beautiful job presenting some different ideas on how we might approach our death and how we might live our lives, be present in the now, given that the timing of our death is an absolute uncertainty, while our death of this life is an absolute certainty. Dzigar Kongtrul talks about death within the context of losses in our life, and are approaching death, the end of this life, as being a loss. Doesn't have to be, but that's how most of it approach it, as being a loss. He writes, "For the majority, the most devastating loss of all is the loss of this life. At that time, we are likely, first of all, to suffer from physical weakness, discomfort, and pain. On top of that, there is the tremendous fear and anxiety of having to leave behind this world and everything familiar to us to face something that is completely unknown, For those of you who are reading along, this is page 94. The final phase of life is the time when our attachments tend to rise up and bring us greater suffering than ever before. He continues, I've been with many people at the end of their lives. It's a difficult time for almost everyone, but I have seen some people do very well. They've shown great resilience and have suffered little from fear, anxiety, depression, regret, and grief. Often they have gone through physical discomfort, but even that is lessened. They have deeply appreciated their life's journey, all the events in it, the ups and downs, and all the people they have known and encountered. Some have even met death in a state of complete joy and fearlessness. Amazing, amazing that someone can approach the end of their life in that state of mind with that level of presence and awareness. Something to aspire to, perhaps for us. And as always, you guys, please take these teachings, this teaching as personal advice. Sort of apply it to you and your own situation and your own views, and see if it's applicable. See if this is medicine that can be helpful to you. What do these people have in common? These people being those who have even met death in a state of complete joy and fearlessness. What do these people have in common? What have they relied on in their final hours? And what can we rely on when we are in that position? Which will happen sooner than we know. It's not the knowledge and skills we've acquired for our successfully negotiating this life. It's not how famous we are or how many people we want to surround our bed. It's not the expensive medical treatments and hospital equipment that our big savings account have made possible. It's not even the religious doctrines that we have followed and believed in. From what I have observed, psychological and emotional well-being at the end of life depends on two qualities. One is a tender heart with sewa flowing abundantly to others, and two, a positive attitude. When I've seen people with these two qualities, I have witnessed their resilience as well. And isn't that interesting that he uses that term resilience? Those of us who are, I don't know, aware, perhaps in community activities, resilience is a word that comes up a lot. For me, my observation over the last, 3 or 4 years, resilience, this term of resilience, community resilience, individual resilience, is a word that is becoming quite commonplace. Here it is in Training in Tenderness in the chapter Meeting Death with an Open Heart. When I've seen people with these two qualities, I've witnessed their resilience as well. They have faced the difficulties of dying and death with ease. These people have inspired me, and I'm determined to cultivate these qualities in myself. Wow. So one can almost say that everything that we have been discussing and studying and practicing in Training in Tenderness, it's really preparing us for this transition, the big transition, at least of this life. All of this encouraging and advocating encouraging and advocating this open-heartedness this tenderheartedness, this sewa, is so that we can have a heart of sewa at the time of our death, which in the Tibetan schools of Buddhism, and I would imagine all schools of Buddhism, I don't know them all, but I'd be surprised if there were ones who didn't have the following view: the view that the moment of our death of this life, the moment of the end, excuse me, the last moment of this life is the most important moment of our entire life. So it would make sense that all of these teachings on Sewa are preparing us for the most important moment of this life, which ironically is the last moment of this life. Because a certain state of consciousness becomes manifest, it's referred to as the clear light of death. The last moment of consciousness of this light, there opens like the most pure state of non-conceptual awareness, the time of our death. And we'll talk more about that. We start to get into a body of teachings in Buddhist doctrine that are called the Tantras. You guys have heard me refer to the sutras. They're kind of in the Tibetan schools. There are two bodies of teachings, the sutras and the tantras. And the teachings on death involve both sutra teachings and tantra teachings. And over the next couple of classes, we'll talk a little bit about the tantras. Let's skip all that for now. We'll get to that when we get to it. For now, I think that the teaching, the main message, the main encouragement from Dzigar Kongtrul should be having a flowing heart of sewa is important throughout our entire lives, anytime, no matter the situation or circumstances, period. And perhaps most importantly, certainly most importantly, at the moment of our death. So, beginning, end, in between, it's all about tenderheartedness, warm-heartedness. So may that serve as inspiration for us to double down on our efforts of cultivating and maintaining this and growing this art of sewa. So good for now. Thanks, you guys. Have a great week.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes, thank
You're
you.
most
Bye,
welcome.
everybody.
Jeff.
Thank
Bye,
you,
everybody.
Jeff.
Thank you.